Okay, Bill. I just did a video about this lady. I went to her house, 67 years old, selling her house, was extremely, extremely sad about selling her house. She's been in
Hmm.
that house for 25 years, and her husband died, not that long ago, and she just can't afford it. Okay.
Okay.
So there was a big response to that video, and as I'm doing more research and people are commenting, because we got hundreds, if not thousands, of comments on that video, I there was a trend going on, and like me and you do videos, and everybody else does the videos, and they say, "Oh, first-time home buyers, they can't afford to buy a house," or "Millennials are having a hard time," or "People are giving up, buying a
Right.
house." But there isn't much videos about people, that are older that can't afford it, not from their choice. It's just things happen. Electricity bills goes up. They're on fixed incomes. Taxes keep going up even on them. Homeowners insurance. There's a whole list. So what I want to talk about in this video is why this is happening and what you could do to help out your parents, your grandparents, or people that literally this lady has no living relatives nearby. She's totally by herself.
Wow. Okay.
And there's things that these people could do. There's an actual checklist, and we're going to go over that checklist of things that people could do towards the end of this video because I really think that this is a very important subject, and I'm going to do more videos on it because I think they are a forgotten generation. Yes, we'll still talk about how first-time home buyers can't buy, but I think this is really, really important. So let's get started. In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. Okay, the first thing we got to talk about is why is Florida a retirement magnet? Okay, or is it still a retirement magnet? That's the big question. A
Okay.
lot of people are going to say, "Well, Florida retirement magnet because no state income tax, warm weather, beaches, live your best life, just outside golfing and everything,
Yep. Not shoveling snow.
not shoveling snow, but here's the thing too. Another stat just came out. The average buyer in Florida is 59 years old, even nationally.
No.
That's what it was on
It was
today.
median.
Oh, median, yeah.
Big difference.
Okay, all right. It was median. That's
But
right.
in your defense,
Yeah,
I have seen so many videos, including the news media,
yeah.
say average. The stat that came out was the median age,
Okay.
and they're spinning it because
The-
it makes better headlines. So
I fell
just
for it too.
yeah,
All right,
but I know which
59.
one you're talking about. Yeah,
Like I'm
and
50.
it's gone up now by a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like 3 days ago it was 45 or something like that, 42.
Well, here's some things. How many retirees actually live here in Florida? Okay, roughly 1 in 5 Floridians is 65 plus. Okay, that's around 21 to 22% of the population, making Florida one of the oldest states in the country when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
age. So the cost surge. This is hitting millions and millions of people. So it's not like it's a small niche. It's a big portion of the Florida population.
Right.
Even some areas nationally too. But since we live here in Florida, I'm running into more and more people that are selling their houses because of health issues. They really have nowhere to go,
Right.
and we are going to talk about that. Okay, so when you're doing a lot of sales lately and stuff, and you're doing a lot of out of state buyers. Okay, because I did some of the inspections and I met them and everything. What is their average age? What's their reasoning for moving to Florida?
A lot of them are relocating for business, for work.
Okay, so it's a business thing.
Yeah, they're coming in for work. Like we've talked about on different videos, they come down here because we are growing. Our industries here in the Tampa Bay area are definitely growing, despite what some people think. But
All right, so how about this one? The average retirement income. So the problem too is with retirees and seniors here, the average retirement income is Social Security is $1,976 to $2,008 a month. Let's just call it $2,000 a month.
Okay.
And how far does $2,000 a month really get you? You know,
Not very.
So the cost of living adjustment for Social Security is 2.5% for 2025, and projected for 2026 is going to be 2.8%. Okay, so they're going to get a little bump, but
That COLA is not a big bump.
no, I'm talking about like insurance alone. Like my mother's insurance bill came in, and she doesn't. She drives. I'll be lucky if she drives 1,500 miles for the year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But her insurance bill came in at $2,300 for one car.
Yeah. It's cheaper just to Uber.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it was crazy, you know.
Yeah. If you add all of it up.
And like the average, just to pay property taxes. Okay, we'll go on to that. The big squeeze. Why is this happening? Homeowners insurance. Okay, Florida's property insurance has spiked massively in the last 5 years. Believe it or not, analysis found that home insurance is up almost 72% in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, insurance in general, car, auto, with home and combined, it's insane.
But do you feel that, I don't think it's getting any better.
No, it hasn't gotten any better at all. I mean, they say it came down a little bit, but like realistically, has it come down a little bit? I think I did a video on that, and we've talked about this on numerous occasions. Yeah, it came down a touch, but does that like 0.1% or whatever it is mean anything? Not really.
No, it really doesn't.
I've avoided opening the email that says, here's your renewal.
Okay, another one shows the average premium is climbing around 125% from 2018 to 2023, with annual jumps of 27% in 2022 and 2023. That was from the Insurance Journal, okay? A 2025 update estimates average premiums are about $3,000 for a typical house of $300,000.
So 3,000, the average is 3,000.
Average is 3,000 plus for a typical $300,000 house.
Interesting.
And averaging over $5,300 a year for a full policy, like, if they put flood in there and stuff like that.
Okay.
And again, we could skew these numbers easily because I could take these numbers over here because another estimate was over 11,000+, but they're taking.
This is where I was getting ready to. I'm like, okay, let's pause for a second.
I did it this way because one of the stats I pulled said Florida's average home insurance bill is $11,000+ per year, but that's given false. When we're telling.
That's not the most accurate in the world there, because that's you're talking, that's multi-million-dollar homes, coastal properties. That's the entire state when you go take an average. I mean, look when you go down to like Palm Beach, down towards Miami. How many houses down there are 5 million, 10 million, 15 million? That's all of those houses combined. Those are, you know what I mean? If you think about it, how much money is down in South Florida?
Yeah.
Even here in Tampa and coastal, and then even just over in Manatee County.
That's why I didn't put that number out at the beginning, because it makes good headlines.
It really does.
It sounds
yeah.
good. Oh, if you're moving to Florida, the average house insurance is $11,000.
Yeah.
But it's not, okay? The average, like in Tampa Bay, what I did, and I did Fort Lauderdale, but just the average home, 400,000, 500,000, it's 3,000+.
Yeah.
Okay, what's happened now? But here's what's happening with these older people that I'm noticing, okay, doing this research. They're getting hit. They're on a fixed income. So say they could afford the property taxes, okay, and the insurance on the fixed income or whatever. Once they get hit with roof, because again, a lot of non-renewals are going out there now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the roof age is 15 to 20 years. I could go there and say, hey, the roof has 7 years, 8 years worth of life left. And the insurance company's like, no.
No,
15,
this is
20.
what it is.
Yep. Old electrical panels, that's becoming more and more of an issue.
Seen a few of those in my showings.
One of them just got a non-renewal because of polyurethane plumbing. It's the gray plumbing with like the gold rings on the end. They said they insured us forever, and now they're saying that it's polyurethane plumbing.
And they're like, nope.
No, okay. And a lot of them, just the prices are just going up because lack of wind mitigation. Like, they don't have, they're older homes, so they don't have hurricane clips, straps.
Right.
Hip roofs or whatever, impact windows, so the premium, it feels like these seniors are getting hit from every different direction.
Yeah, it's tough. It's because it's not stopping, and there's really not much they can do about most of those things. With insurance and such.
I agree. So then you're saying, okay, people are going to comment and they're going to say, well, you know what? For a retiree, I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to go into a condo. Okay, so I had to talk about condos because isn't a condo a perfect thing for retiring?
Because that's kind of what their premise was for the most part. Because it's no maintenance, it's easy. Lock it and go back up north. You can snowbird, you can travel, do all the retirement things that you want to do.
Yeah, but okay, condos. In Tampa, the median HOA jumped 17.2% in 1 year, reaching about $614 a month, highest increase in 43 major metro areas. Orlando, Fort Lauderdale saw similar 16 to 17% jumps. Okay, so they're on fixed income, they go into a condo, and their HOAs increase because of insurance, the maintenance.
Right, yeah, maintenance, deferred maintenance, the requirement to have your funding, to be funded, your reserve study, to get the reserve study and anything like that. That's where all those jumps really pushed everything up. Hopefully they'll start swinging back the other way.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is they get special assessments. Some of these people are selling their condos that I'm doing some. I'm saying, why are you selling your condo if you love it and it's just one door, it's easy, you don't have to take care of grass or anything. They're like, I just got a special assessment for $12,000, $13,000.
Yeah.
All right. So monthly fees that were $350 are now on $600. Special assessments, and some of them that I looked up were $20,000. Some of them were $50,000.
Yep, that's on the high end, obviously.
On the high ends.
Of course, that's the headline grabber ones.
Right, but imagine buying a condo in the '60s, and with HOAs $300,000, and now you're retiring, and now how expensive it is. All right, what we got to do is talk about property taxes, and we're going to go to solutions. But I want to paint a good picture on why seniors are getting pushed out, and there has to be solutions for these things. Okay, property taxes. Property taxes exploded during the pandemic. Home prices went up over 50% between 2020 and 2022. This is from a Newsweek article that I got. Do you believe that?
That they went up over 50% overnight?
Yeah.
I don't see that. So I think they're skewing how things work with property taxes. So the way that reads is that everybody's property taxes went up by 50%.
No, they said the values went up 50%.
Right, so the values went up, so the people who were purchasing a home's property taxes went up, not the people who own a home already.
Right, so the average property taxes, they pay about $3,300 per year in property taxes. So I didn't take the really rich, expensive homes and do that. But the taxes increased about 2 to 3% per year, which, again, remember everybody, these people are on fixed incomes.
Right.
So even if they get a price adjustment for inflation of 2.5 or even 3%, it gets eaten up so fast. Just go to the supermarket, eats that up.
Yep.
Okay, I think we painted a pretty good picture. Okay, why seniors are in trouble. Okay, so let's talk about solutions. Okay. So I looked some stuff up, and even if you're not in Florida and you're in a situation like this and you don't have anywhere to go, maybe this will work in your area, so do some research. Seniors could get help, maybe make sure they have homestead exemptions. Okay, like I literally ran into somebody that's selling their house, and one of the reasons they complained about was their taxes jumped so much, and I'm like, that makes no sense. And she didn't move here, she moved here about 6-7 years ago. She never filed a homestead exemption.
Wow.
So the reason why I'm bringing it up, so for 7 years, her taxes during the peak were jumping up all the way up to 10%. Because she didn't file a homestead exemption.
Wow, that stinks.
That really stinks, okay?
Man, that's a shame.
So additionally, exemptions for 65 plus with low income, dependent on the county and city ordinance, you might be able to get assistance or a break, okay? I don't know, but that's what I read. So call your county. Call the taxes.
Yeah. So sometimes, depending on your age, you get additional deductions. just here's the big thing with deductions, just in general, and this is for everybody. If you're not sure, ask, because there are deductions out there and you may qualify. It's not the county's responsibility to call you and say, hey, you now qualify for X, or we have this program. So just log in, look up, log into your county tax assessor's office and ask the questions and look around a little bit, and go down there and ask the questions. If you have nothing else to do, I'd rather just call or look online, but don't just assume you don't get deductions on things, because you might be missing something.
Well, like seriously, one of these people, they're paying a fortune in insurance. Okay, she was telling me, she goes, yeah, I was doing a wind mitigation of 4-point to get insurance, and she goes, yeah, my policy went up, and she's actually in a non-flood, up on a, I know there's not hills here, but up higher. Okay,
On a little mound of dirt.
on a little amount of dirt, but
But
I can tell you where she's
up is up.
located. I can tell you right now, for her to get flooded, I'm talking about, I did my thing and we were like 45 feet above,
Yeah.
But she's paying, I think she said $3,700 for flood insurance because her insurance company sold her an insurance policy. And she doesn't even have a mortgage.
Time to call another insurance agency.
But you see what I mean? They just think that, oh my God, I need flood insurance. I'm not saying don't get a flood insurance, talk to your insurance person. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying, come on.
You know what? I'm going to push on this a little bit, because this is the stuff that you guys have to do. You really, if something like that scenario happened, get on the phone and call another insurance company, and don't just stick to the 1, 2, 3. Like let's say we call it. I've been with my State Farm agent forever. I want to stick with them. I'm sorry. Start shopping around. Push on them a little bit. Say, why are my rates going up? You can do better. Push back. Don't be afraid to push back, because sometimes there's some wiggle room in there. The way the insurance industry works, you'd be surprised what you get if you push. And then make sure if you are shopping for insurance, that you shop and compare apples to apples. Make sure you have your declaration page, and then you're getting a comparison, because sometimes what people will do is, and I've seen this with my customers shopping insurance before for new homes, is they'll compare the two. One person gives you a nice, good quality policy that's got everything that you need. You don't want to short on rebuild construction costs and things like that, because they might, like reconstruction costs might be low, because that's where they can save some money potentially. And then on the other policy, they've excluded certain things. Your lanai, your bird cage, that's what we call them here in Florida, bird cages. Those aren't included in your policy, and they've stripped it down to save you a little bit of money. But at least, and that's fine, but you need to know those things when you're comparing two policies against each other. And don't be afraid to shop. And please, I know everybody likes to do these online portals. Pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to get a Progressive online instant quote.
No,
you need to talk to a human.
I like brokers that have multiple carriers.
Yeah,
so I'm
you have
believing
to.
that.
You have to use a broker with multiple carriers.
But here's other programs. Let me give you an example. I did another 4-point in wind for another elderly person, and was going to sell because of the cost of insurance, because they needed a new roof. The roof was bad. I told them about My Safe Florida program. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still available now, but look, it's called My Safe Florida program. They actually called me about 2 weeks ago and thanked me, because they actually got, I think they said that for every dollar they spent, they got $2 back from the state. They got a new roof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they got a new roof, and it literally cost them, I think, $4,000, because they got the money back. They didn't know about the program. It's not like it's on a commercial, and
Yeah, they're not advertising this stuff.
they're not advertising, but there was no income check, no nothing. They needed a new roof. It failed. They sent out an inspector like me saying, yeah, did a wind mitigation, and they got a new roof, and now they can stay in their house.
Yeah. There's programs out there. There's a program in the south part of the county that offers, because the county actually has an older sewer system and the houses are typically older there, there's actually a rebate program if you need to get a new sewer line, which is called the side sewer, from the clean out outside the house to the city sewer. They're giving you, because there's a ton of like clay pipe over in that area, they're giving you kind of like the My Safe Florida program type of stuff down there. You just have to research programs, insulation in your attics, things like that. that because your power bill's so
Yeah.
high.
Yeah,
There's
the
the
Duke Energy
Duke
has-
Energy
yeah,
has
has
a
a
program. I
program,
just sent
yeah.
it to a customer that had the issue with the insulation in the attic.
There's so many programs out there that before you're saying, I can't afford this house, ask for help. Okay. And if you did and you still can't do it, there's other things. You could stay, if you like Florida, you could downsize. Maybe the house is too big for you. Maybe a condo is. Okay. I would find a real estate agent and tell them your situation, explain it, even if it takes a long time. But I wouldn't go into a older condo that doesn't have their stuff together. I would make sure you get to the right condo so you don't run into a situation that you can't afford it again.
Right. So what could potentially happen is that you're trying to sell because you're trying like, okay, my insurance is too high or whatever the case is. And then you're just trading one expense for another expense. By the time you change all the moving parts.
Yeah, but you have to have that somebody smart to figure it out.
Right. So that's where you need to really have a consultation to sit down and put pen to paper and go, okay, if you move, this is your expenses. If you go here, these are your
Did you
full-on
just
expenses.
do it for? I mean, they weren't older; they were younger.
They're a
kids.
younger couple, yeah.
But you just did that.
I just did that. I mean, we spent 3.5 hours going over numbers and scenarios with
Did
them.
you say it didn't make sense?
What's that?
Did you say at the end it doesn't make sense for you to move?
Oh yeah, I told them this is not. Do not move. Makes zero sense for you to move whatsoever. Now, if you want to move because whatever your reason is, but from a monetary standpoint, you're not saving any money.
Yeah, so
It's costing you a ton of money.
You know, another senior that I know did a reverse mortgage. I'm not a mortgage person, talked to a mortgage expert, but they did a reverse mortgage, and that seemed like it worked out pretty good for them.
Yeah, just be careful with that stuff.
Yeah,
There's
be
a
very
ton of
careful.
there's so many scams with that stuff out there. Just be careful.
Yeah. All right, so, what about this one? Okay, Bill, what if they leave expensive areas like Miami, Palm Beach, some areas in Tampa, because just down the road, there might be a place you could have everything you want, just 30 minutes away. It'd be a lot less expensive.
Yeah, again, it's back to making a plan. And I think that's definitely, would that move solve your root problem?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Well, some of the people are moving to Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessees, just because they said I can't. I know people that are just retiring now, and they're actually, packing up to actually retire in Tennessee or North Carolina or something like that. It's crazy. But I guess what the biggest thing is too is if you have seniors, in your life, even if you have like grandparents live in Florida and you don't live in Florida, check in on them. Really, make sure that they have a game plan, because what I'm noticing is a lot of these retirees are too proud to ask for help.
Oh yeah, they don't know. I get it. You don't want to ask your kids for help. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. That's you're there to be the helper.
And don't forget, every time I go into a house to do an inspection for insurance, and most of the times when I find maintenance issue, old air conditioners, leaky water heaters, just like black substance on the ceilings around the vents, bad panels, they're seniors and they don't have the ability, or one of their spouses died, they don't have the ability to do the maintenance on the house. So, like I just did one the other day, and literally on the gutters, there was plants growing out of the gutters.
Mm-hmm.
And then what it was doing is it was pushing water into the house.
Right, which is going to create an even worse problem. Just, I don't know. There's things there's programs out there to help seniors that don't have anything or anybody. There's programs out there.
Yeah, so my call to action for this video is if you know any seniors, whether you're related to them or not related to them, or they live far from you, or you know that their spouse has died, reach out, please. And it takes one phone call. Don't even text, because some of them don't even get text. But just reach out to them and ask them how they're doing and if they have a game plan, okay? Because there's a lot of scammers out there that will reach out to them.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and screw them. Like, there was one person, she's 78 or 79 years old, and the roof was old, and she says, oh, there's somebody else coming. It's like, for what? And they're like, I thought it was another inspection. It's like, Oh, they want to sell me solar panels. They said I don't have to pay for electricity anymore.
Oh,
And I'm like, she's 79 years old, old roof. I told her, just cancel it right there. You know, they were going to give her like a 20, 25-year loan, you know?
Yeah.
She can barely afford what her house needs. A water heater, it has a Federal Pacific panel, it's just the grass. It's just like, you're going to sell her solar panels?
Right.
Come on.
Because it's going to,
That's just scumbags.
yeah, she's
you know,
going
at
to
the
still
end of
make the
day.
payment and then hopefully
No,
recoup
they'll
the money.
automatically withdraw it from her,
Yeah.
from her savings, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because they just care about their bottom line. This is a very, very sensitive subject for me. I
I know.
don't like seniors being taken. You know, like my mother gets scam phone calls every day. I'm there to protect her with my brothers, you know, and stuff. But it's ridiculous the amount of people that call trying to scam and
Yep.
everything.
They used to call my mom all the time too. It's like,
It's horrible. Anyways, that's today's video. Remember, if you do need a real estate agent anywhere in Florida, just my phone number is below, and watch this video right here. I picked it out just for you, and call that senior in your life. Thank you and have a great day.
thanks for watching. See you on the next video.